venez de voir un film assez spécial parce que Nabil, c'est une voix très forte du nouveau cinéma marocain. Il a même représenté le Maroc aux Oscars et tout d'un coup, il vient de faire ce film si puissant et si fort que vous venez de voir. Et ce film, je crois que vous avez parlé de ça au début du film, au début de la projection. Le film vient d'être le film a été interdit au Maroc. Personne ne l'attendait. Mais c'est ce qui s'est passé. Ensuite, et c'est très récent, une des actrices s'est fait agresser violemment au Maroc. Ça date de quelques jours. Sont des choses absolument ignobles qui se passent autour de Much Loved. En tout cas, je propose à Nabil, pour lancer la première question, de rester fidèle au travail. En vous demandant, Nabil, si on pourrait parler d'une méthode de travail, par exemple, la méthode de direction d'acteurs. Comment vous avez trouvé les femmes qu'on voit à l'écran? Comment vous l'avez dirigé? Les enjeux entre fiction et réalité qui sont assez forts, assez complexes. Tout ça en commençant par les actrices. Et comment vous l'aviez trouvé?
Je les ai trouvés en faisant des recherches qui ont duré à peu près 1 an et demi avant le tournage du film. J'ai rencontré beaucoup de prostituées de tout le Maroc, pas seulement d'ailleurs des prostituées, mais aussi des hommes et des femmes qui orbitent autour du milieu de la prostitution. Certains qu'on voit dans le film, comme des travestis, comme des gardiens d'immeubles, de voitures, de videurs de boîtes de nuit. Et pendant toutes ces rencontres, j'ai rencontré ces filles également, qui pour la plupart sont des actrices non professionnelles, à part l'héroïne, Lubna Abidar, qui joue le rôle de Noah. Les autres apparaissent pour la première fois au cinéma et ont grandi dans des quartiers populaires au Maroc, au contact de prostituées. Donc elles se sont nourries de leur réalité. Certaines étaient leurs amies, leurs voisines. Et c'est cette vérité-là qu'elles ont apportée au film et à leurs personnages. Et pour ça, on a fait un travail avant le tournage, en préparation, auquel Mariam a participé, qui est un travail avec beaucoup d'exercices. Non pas sur le texte lui-même, parce que j'ai voulu leur laisser une part d'improvisation assez forte pendant le tournage, mais d'exercices sur leur personnage, sur la caractérisation de leur personnage. J'avais envie qu'elles arrivent à toucher du doigt qui étaient les personnages qu'elles allaient incarner dans le film, pour pouvoir leur donner ensuite plus de liberté pendant le tournage.
S'il y a une question, au microphone circule.
Hi, sorry, I'm gonna switch to English because it's easier, and I think it would be better in English also. I wanted to know, were you expecting the ban? Because the film is harsh, and knowing a bit of Morocco, how were you expecting what would happen after launching the film?
Well, I was expecting, because as you said, the film is harsh, some harsh reactions too. I was expecting people who would not like to see this film in Morocco, would not like to see this film existing or talking about a topic like this one. But I was expecting a debate still, even if this debate could have been strong and harsh. And this debate didn't happen because the film was banned in conditions that I never thought it could be possible, meaning that the film has not been seen by the censorship committee as usual. I didn't have the time to ask for visa. Just after Cannes Film Festival, when we came back the day after, the Ministry of Communication decided to ban it without seeing it and without being in its prerogative. Sorry? Capacity, exactly. Because normally I should ask a visa to the Moroccan Cinematographic Center and they should watch the film and give an opinion, which did not happen. So this is the first time in the history of Morocco, and I still do not understand why it could have happened that way. Because as you can imagine, after that, when you do that with a film, you give it a certain stature of like a devil movie, and then hate began on social networks and in the streets and in many places, lots of hate. So I think for cinema, you should not receive hate. You should receive opinion, critics, but not hate.
I try to speak in English, but my English is not perfect. I know this film because my boyfriend is from Morocco. And I know the title of the film because he lived in France. And when I was the last time to meet him, it was the day that the film was going out for the first time, in the first days in Morocco. And I remember I was in the university and they was between France on Moroccan, and arrived a boy from Morocco also. And he say, you have to look this film because this is this new film. They are all between 20, 25 years old from Morocco. And they say, this is this new film. It's a porno film. They are all boys. I was the only girl there. And my boyfriend say, what are you speaking? And they speak about this film like for 1 week. And the first day, we go directly on internet to check for the trailer. Was still just in Moroccan and French, because was going on the news of the first days. And I remember that was funny because we was there, we checked the trailer, and basically we don't speak about sex. We speak about, he started to explain me all the history about the prostitution in Morocco and things like this. But the funny thing is that between them, they speak about this film like it was porno, basically. But when I come back in Portugal, or when I see also in Italy the reaction, they don't put this label on the film. They put it like denuncia, like I don't say because I'm Italian. They use it like a film. In Italy, they speak about that like a film that want to say that something is wrong in the society, or in that case. But in between this group of Moroccan boys, they give a label that I think they take this label from the information in internet from Morocco. So you think that why there is this gap between the Moroccan label and the other country label? Why in Morocco is classified like porno, and here or in Italy was classified like a movie that want to say this is wrong, stop?
Not only in Italy, but in Belgium.
Yeah, I mean in the
or France,
or, yeah.
Where the film was forbidden only under 12 years old. Well, where does this gap come from? Mainly education?
But because the funny thing is that between them they speak like it's a porno. They are boys, so you have to look. There are many girls naked and stuff like this. But basically, there was no information. There is just the trailer. And when I checked the trailer with my boyfriend, we speak about the society problem. We don't speak about sex. We speak up for 3 hours about that. He showed me the video about the prostitution in Morocco, and he started to speak me about Maroc, the old film in, they do about the young that go to take drugs, alcohol, and that kind of stuff. The old film Maroc. So it was funny that when he speak with me, he speak like he's a film that want to say that something is wrong. But when he speak with his friends, he changed the label. It's weird, but I see that and it was funny.
Well, it's all a question of perspective. You know, as I said before, because the film was forbidden without being seen, it developed a kind of fantasy.
Yeah, I asked him what is the story, and nobody of them have an idea of the story, or they just know the label. It was funny that they just know that there are many girls naked and he speak about sex. Stop. And they was very happy about that, but they don't understand nothing about the film.
So I think you met the question and the answer.
No, but it was funny because in Italy, in the other country was not this. There are more information in Italy that for them that was Moroccan. Why that?
Maybe I should interrupt just to say that Nabil, I remember when he told me actually that some people, when they actually saw the film from Morocco, when the film opened in France, some echoes starting to arrive to Morocco, and some people from Morocco finally saw the film and said, "Oh, we shouldn't have said so bad on this film because this film is nothing what we heard about. It's a totally different film."
They speak like for 1 week just about things they heard.
I think that it's the proof that this film has to be shown in film festivals in Europe, all over the countries, until people who ban the film will feel so alone and so shamed. I think it's the most important thing to say. I don't want to use Nabil's word, but I think it's the most important thing to answer that and to answer that question.
I just
Is there any other question?
Story about the label and
okay. Thank you. S'il y a des questions in English. Sinon, I think we can keep it in English, no? Or French. Is there any question? Other question?
You talked about education, which was perhaps the reason of this kind of understanding. But when you speak of education, you mean just the conservative mind, or is there any special relation with religion or whatever?
Yeah, not exactly religion, because it doesn't have really a link with religion itself, but more, as you said, conservative minds linked to the traditions or the culture of non-saying things, or not wanting to see things as they are, really being in a certain way blind about a reality that we want to escape from. And this developed a kind of schizophrenia in the society, I guess, in many, many young people who know that this is happening. They talk about it between them, but when it comes on a screen, then it's a different matter. Then they feel somehow attacked.
It's an aggression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they develop some reactions of defense, like the one that the lady just quoted. This is just porno, forgot about it, and stuff like that. But, I mean, this is not something that they really believe inside. It's just a process to just, you know?
Yeah, to adapt to the main mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Are you living there in Morocco?
Yeah. We both live there.
So you intend to come back?
I do live there. I just arrived from there today, 2 hours ago.
But perhaps you need to be prepared for the reaction when you arrive, no?
No, actually, all this happened right after Cannes Film Festival in May, as I said before.
Yeah.
So it was months and months ago. Only the aggression of the actress that you mentioned was last week, but all the campaign of aggressivity against the film happened months and months ago, and I was not prepared to it.
And most probably they are prepared to silence the thing and not to reopen the scandal, let's say. Most probably, no?
Yes, because when you ban a film, normally it is to close the debate. So make it silence, as you said, is the good word. The thing is, I have to say that this is not exactly what happened, because after the ban, some people in Morocco, well, many people in Morocco, defend the film for right of freedom, of course, but also the right of women in the society to express a different voice, different voices. So there was a kind of struggle in the society, very, very strong struggle, which is very good, I think, this debate that happened in May, June, July, and still now there are some press articles. There are also a new phenomena of young prostitutes that we never heard their voices before, who are now appearing in the media, in the websites. They are filming themselves in little films, talking about their life, how difficult it was for them to be invisible, and how important today for them it is to talk about their lives. So this is good in a certain way, because this debate is getting wider in the society.
Eu faço a pergunta em português, mas pode-me responder em inglês ou francês. Um dos problemas do filme não terá sido pôr em causa a moral da Arábia Saudita, da poderosa Arábia Saudita?
I don't know exactly the reason why the film was banned. If it's because of filming people from Arabia Saudita, as you said, because when they banned the film, this is not the reasons that they gave officially, but unofficially, there's really no way to know exactly the reasons of why the film was banned.
Over there. Another topic is like the money goes around, how people lives. There is like a system. The boyfriend of one gets money, like a proxemitism. The mother, everybody lives from that money, and money comes from Arabia Saudita and then the Europeans and whatever. I think that part for me was the most strong, as I saw a system of living and mother child, son, boyfriend, friends, motorista, whatever, the driver,
Foreigners.
whatever is around comes from that exercise, but what is important is the money. I don't know if I have this perception as the strongest one, but for me, I think this is the real problem. Living from the women are used for something. I don't know if you want to.
No, I agree with you, of course. They're really, those women are really in the center of the system.
And you want to say that in the film. Is that true?
Of course.
I think that's what hurt a lot of people as well, is the fact that finally these women exist in the eyes of everybody, and it's also painful for a lot of people that are living from these women and taking so much from them to actually admit to themselves that they are in that position and that they are putting them in that position. So it's a question of dignity and a false dignity, actually, of trying to seem without really being. So I think that's one of the reasons as well why the film was banned and why it caused such violent reactions, because it's putting a lot of people in the situation, forcing them to look at themselves and to question themselves and judge themselves. So I think that's part of where this violence came from. A violence which, like we said before, after led the way, opened the voice to a real questioning of values, of a whole social structure, of things that are accepted without being questioned. So yeah, I mean, what you're saying is quite important for what I think we were trying to portray through this film.
Thank you so much.
Hi. I wanted to say that for me, like in my opinion, when an institution decides to ban a work of art, that can be a film or a book, it's mainly because they are scared. They're scared not just of the movie, but they are scared of the effect that the movie can have on the viewers. Just like it happens with books, they are scared not of the book itself, but they're scared of the readers. But my question to you is, well, if you agree with this, what are they scared about? Why is your movie so scary for the people that decided to ban it?
Because it's a mirror. It's a mirror of a reality that they don't want to be shown, they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be discussed. Because discussing this reality could open the doors to questions that they don't want to exist. So it's much more comfortable to say, no, come on, it doesn't exist in our country, we don't want to talk about that, and this is really a crazy guy, than questioning the society like the film is doing. Because there are essential questions that I'm asking in this film, people to ask themselves, as Mariam just said right now. So it's more easy to break a mirror than to watch yourself in it.
Thank you.
Just because following this, I think it's important I think people tend to watch this movie as if it was a documentary. It happens that it's not a documentary, it's a fiction. I mean, the actresses, they know very well where they are, how they walk, people, what kind of people they are surrounded by, but Noah, the main actress of the movie, the main character of the movie, she does not exist. She doesn't have a real existence. She's a character of fiction that you have created. And I'd like to ask both of you, how did you manage to create such a group of women? Because I think the real power from the film comes from the fiction that is inside the film.
How did we manage? I think what was essential to Nabil was nourishing himself deeply from the reality of these women. So, like you say, this film resembles a lot the documentary. I mean, it's you have the feeling that you're in these women's real lives, that it's not a fiction, and it is indeed because of all the hours spent, which I don't know how many they could be, but it's endless hours. Nabil met over 250 prostitutes. We met, yeah, and it was a lot, endless nights talking with them, nourishing them ourselves from them, listening to their stories, which a lot of times left us devastated at the end, but a lot of times full of hope, because we were very inspired by these women, by their strength, by all they represented, and of course, we were like sponges absorbing all these things. So I think obviously it came out naturally when writing the screenplay for the film, which Nabil wrote. It just came out naturally because he had taken so much inspiration from these women that it was almost, I don't know, irréfléchi. It was almost just natural, just came out. So I think that's why it's got this taste of reality to it, because it is a fiction, but it's a fiction that can get as close to reality as possible.
And there's a part of Sal, of every woman that we met in those four characters, somehow. And Said exists. Not this Said, but those women, because they have complicated relationship to the public space that is not really accessible for them. As you can imagine, they cannot spend 10 minutes outside to wait a cab when they go out. They go out from a party or from a bar or whatever. So they hire a guy like that is more than a driver. It's a driver, is a friend, is a father, is a protector, is many things, that is for them, which are really in the need for love. It's someone that is simply taking care of them. Yeah. They all have a Said.
Hello, I wanted to ask you something, because tonight my understanding of Portuguese was limited, and actually I didn't expect the movie to have Portuguese subtitles. I thought it's going to be in English. Anyway, I focused a lot on the non-verbal channel of communication in this movie, the feelings that were transmitted through facial expressions, through the gestures of the actors. And what I felt was an undercurrent of joy in their lives. Although their lives have many hardships, and he presented that part as well, I was surprised to see the joy and the hope that they have in their lives, and the optimism that it's going to be better, and the feeling that they can enjoy life. So that was the surprising aspect for me, and I wanted to ask you if you drew that from the interviews with the real people, or was it more like a style that you wanted to use in the movie?
Oh no, they are like that. they're surviving like that. They're resisting like that. And when I'm saying that, I mean humor. I mean having fun about men, about society, about themselves, laughing at themselves a lot. It's a way of resistance in this family of substitution that they created between themselves. Friendship is also part of their life.
Oui, bon, je parle français, mais je pense que je vais le faire en anglais pour tout le monde. I want to go back in one thing that you told about the film that was banished in Morocco. Don't you know that maybe it's just because it was the shock at the beginning, but that's one day they could see the film there because maybe, as you said, some people start to react in the positive way about the film, want that maybe the film could be seen in Morocco, and some maybe cultural centers or I don't know will help to try that the film could be seen in Morocco. But two, I think that with internet today, for sure that they will find a lot of people, a lot of ways to see the film, and so do you think that one day it will be possible that the people that's or maybe better that do you think that your film could be the start or to make something new about that in Morocco, because I'm used to go very often in Morocco. I know very well the country, and everything that I saw in the film, I saw it there. I know even the driver. A lot of people there. They have all the driver that's always hire when they want to go out, and every people know what's happening there, and so. It's not, for me, it's not a shock to see the film, it's just to see the reality, but it's, they don't want that the people saw that out of Morocco, maybe, and so maybe it's the reason why they don't want that the Moroccan people understand that the people out of Morocco know the reality. This is one of the aspects that I saw myself, my opinion, from someone who knows the country too, and a lot of Moroccan people who know exactly the reality. So I think that soon, or maybe not soon, but a lot of people, even in Morocco, will see the film. I think so. Do you think so too?
Oh yeah, hopefully. I mean, there's so many ways today to discover movies. Internet is definitely one of them. Actually, and surprisingly, this is the most seen movie in Morocco, even if it's banned. Let me explain you in few words. But the clips that were hacked during Cannes Film Festival, 4 clips of 1 minute, they've been seen like 10 or 12 million times in Morocco on YouTube. I don't know the exact figure, but it's like huge. And there were some images stolen of the film that went on the internet. Also some hours of rush, we call that rush, that were stolen, and they went on YouTube, Facebook, and so on. They've been seen by millions of people. So this means that when we say to Moroccan people, this film is bad, you should not see it, this is not for you, this is something that is better to ban, we're just not telling them the truth, simply. We want to cut them from this reality on screen that they don't want to see. But not population itself, but those on top of this population. And I'm pretty sure that this population is ready to see any type of images and is already seeing any type of images on internet. So this film is gonna reach them in a way or another, that's for sure.
Bonsoir. Déjà, je voulais vous féliciter pour le film, enfin vous et les actrices. Je pense que c'est effectivement assez surprenant les réactions au Maroc après le film, parce que j'imagine que vous avez dû recevoir des autorisations pour tourner le film. Ils ont dû voir un scénario, ils sont pas possible qu'ils soient complètement tombés des nues non plus. J'avais 2 questions à vous poser. Déjà, j'aurais aimé savoir, enfin, vu le contexte politique marocain, quelle avait été la réaction de Mohamed VI et du palais, enfin, s'il y a eu une réaction officielle par rapport à ça. Et deuxièmement, et de manière totalement opposée, je me demandais si c'était pas un petit peu frustrant pour vous et pour votre équipe qu'on voit toujours ce film à travers le fait qu'il ait été interdit au Maroc. Il y a eu des réactions très violentes au Maroc, alors que je trouve que c'est une image absolument fantastique de la société marocaine, qui décrit effectivement la prostitution, qui est une réalité au Maroc, mais aussi les homosexuels, les travestis, qui ont aussi une place pas forcément très facile dans le film. Je suis même étonnée qu'on se focalise beaucoup sur les prostituées et pas sur les acteurs qui ont joué ces personnages. Ça dépeint la corruption. Je trouve que ça dépeint aussi très bien la solidarité entre les Marocains, les personnes qui doivent jongler entre les traditions et la modernité. C'est pas toujours facile. Et je voulais savoir si, donc, pour vous, c'est pas un petit peu frustrant si vous n'étiez pas un peu frustré qu'on ne voit le film qu'au travers, effectivement, de ces scènes qui sont un petit peu chaudes, mais enfin, finalement c'est loin d'être que le film. Ça dépeint la société marocaine à travers l'histoire de 4 filles qui effectivement ont une profession un peu spéciale, mais voilà.
C'est juste quand le film n'a pas accès au public que la polémique autour du film l'emporte sur le propos du film. Mais en France, en Belgique, en Italie, dans les pays où le film est sorti, on a parlé du film, on a parlé de la proposition cinématographique et on a parlé du sujet réel et des questions que pose le film, beaucoup plus que du scandale et de la polémique, fort heureusement. Mais pour ça, il a fallu qu'il puisse arriver au public. Et un public en partie composé de Marocains, effectivement. Quant à votre première question, aucune réaction du palais sur l'interdiction du film. Aucune.
Eu gostava de perguntar, vou falar em português e agradecia que traduzisse ao inglês ou ao francês. Eu percebo, mas para quem está aqui que não fala português, que traduzisse de voz alta. Eu vi o filme também por um outro lado, pela questão social, da diferença e do mercado que há e da pobreza versus quem tem dinheiro. Os europeus vão lá, os sauditas vão lá. Essa é uma questão, a questão social, da diferença de classes.
J'ai vu le film par la différence sociale qu'il y a, la circulation de l'argent, la différence sociale qu'on voit aussi très présente dans le film.
Mas esta é uma realidade também europeia e mundial, não é só marroquina.
Réalité mondiale, pas justement une réalité marocaine, mais européenne, mondiale.
Eu penso é que este filme, filmado na Europa, passava, porque há liberdade de expressão e, portanto, passava. Porque esta realidade também é uma realidade portuguesa, é uma realidade europeia e mondial.
Mais si ce film a été tourné en Europe, personne ne dirait quelque chose sur ce film dans ces termes-là. Et pourtant, c'est une réalité qui existe aussi au Portugal et un peu partout.
Merci pour le film.
Oui, parce que c'est une réalité qui est en débat dans la société. qui est en débat au niveau politique également, au niveau du Parlement, de l'Assemblée nationale. Il y a des lois qui sont votées, qui organisent la vie des prostituées. Ici, j'imagine au Portugal que c'est pareil qu'en France ou qu'en Espagne ou dans d'autres pays. C'est quelque chose qui est en discussion au sein de la cité, au sein de la société. Et c'est sain. Le problème, il y a eu cette vague de haine et de violence contre le film au Maroc parce que le sujet est tabou. La réalité ne l'est pas. La réalité est exposée dans les bouches, dans les discussions, dans les conversations de café, au sein même de la famille. Ça fait partie de la famille même, ces discussions, mais le sujet officiellement est tabou. Voilà, la différence, elle est là. Sinon, vous avez tout à fait raison. Évidemment que ce n'est pas une problématique typiquement marocaine. La prostitution, elle est totalement universelle, même si évidemment il y a des spécificités selon les pays.
Sorry. First of all, I would like to thank you for this beautiful movie. This is the second movie I'm watching from you. The first one was Alizawa, which was beautiful and heartbreaking. So my question is, this is not the first time we talk about prostitution in Morocco and have that kind of, not really that kind of movies, but sort of. The first one I think was in 2003 and it was made by Narja, Les Yeux Secs. And my question is, where did you get this idea from to make this movie? Because it's completely different from Alizawa and Les Chevaux des Hommes.
Les Chevaux de Dieu.
Les Chevaux de Dieu, sorry, yes.
But if you remember well, in Alizawa and Horses of God, there was a character of prostitute, a woman who was a mother of one of the main character of the film, the main fellows. Do you remember that? So I was always very intrigued by those women, not because they're prostitutes, but because of the part that they're playing in the society, especially the part that they're playing in terms of feeding a certain frustration of the man, and the part to the relation to the family that is very strong, what they give compared to what they receive. So I was obsessed by this since a very long time until I decided to go really deeper in the subject a few years ago. That's where I met in Marrakesh one day 4 girls, 4 prostitutes, and they decided to open their heart, and I was there during 2 days, and what I've heard was what was strong enough to give me the willing to come back and to hear more and more and more. And it affected me.
Uma última questão.
Hi, congratulations again from the movie. I just saw Horses of God 2 days ago, and it was very touching, also this one. Something that I felt more in Horses of God, but here again, is that sexuality is a problem, and that's why maybe it is different to discuss prostitution in Morocco or in Europe. And I felt in both of your movies that maybe you want to speak up for it. You just mentioned the word taboo. Is the fact that because sexuality is so repressed that the behavior of people is also different and might make it worse in a way that you need to speak up for that?
Sexuality is definitely repressed, and I think because of all these frustrations it is important to be able to talk about them openly, and thus the need for a film like this, and once again the violent reactions it creates, because obviously when you're trying to keep a part of you suppressed to pretend it doesn't exist. When it's out in the open and you talk about it, you take it personally. And what else was I going to say? Sur l'image sexuality is lived in a way which is very limited, and as children already to begin with. In Morocco, we're taught very little things about sexuality, so we only learn what is coming from outside talk, from the other ones, from television, from things we're not allowed to see, but there isn't an open discussion. It just doesn't exist. It's something we don't talk about. So growing up already, it's a lack that we feel, and it's something we don't feel comfortable with. And I think this discomfort makes us react in ways that are violent even towards ourselves. I think the need for prostitutes in Morocco, I think there is a real need for prostitutes in Morocco. I mean, I don't know to say it that way, but they respond to a real necessity as well. Also because sexuality outside of marriage is generally taboo, although it is practiced. But a lot of people will only have a first sexual experience with a prostitute. And it's very hard for a young man or for a young woman to experience anything in a way that's more natural, that's more healthy maybe. I don't know if to say healthy, but I don't mean it in the first degree. So already the relationship to sex and to sexuality is conditioned through that. So I think that talking about a subject like this is essential, and I think understanding the lack that there is from the very beginning is crucial as well to understanding the reactions that it provokes after.
So we will end. I just want to thank you so much, Mariam, for coming. Also, Nabil, merci beaucoup d'être parmi nous à parler de ce film. Et merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous et au Festival de Lisbonne Story de nous avoir invités et surtout d'avoir permis cette mise en lumière de mes précédents films, Les Chevaux de Dieu, Alizawa, Myland. J'en suis évidemment honoré, flatté, et je remercie pour ça aussi le grand ordonnateur de ce festival, Paolo Branco. Merci.